Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let's get this party rolling. Let's get this party rocking and rolling. Welcome to episode 6 of the Growth Spurt podcast, coming to you with so much energy. Okay, first of all, I want to start off this episode by talking about how you can show up shitty and it's still going to be better off than not showing up at all. That's all I want to say. I just, I'm wearing sweatpants right now. I really wasn't feeling like recording a podcast today, but I need to get it done. And normally I write out, a bit of a script for my podcast. So I have an idea of what I'm doing, where I'm going in terms of the topics I'm talking about. I'm just going to roll with the punches today. So bear with me. Let's pray we make it through this. And yeah, hopefully my ADHD brain doesn't get too scattered. We'll see what happens. But I have a very exciting topic today. I think I say that every episode, but truly, I love them all, okay? But today I want to talk about, setting expectations and standards right at the beginning of a relationship. And I think this is so, so, so important. And I see a lot of women fail to do this. And in turn, their relationships don't work out or they are blindsided when it could have been avoided. So, it's super, super important to set boundaries and expectations. And I mean, I have talked about this. I have talked about boundaries a little bit on a past podcast, but this is different. Setting your standards and expectations right from the beginning, I think really makes things super clear. And it adds a level of, I want to say I don't even know what I'm saying, but it makes your dating life easier. I promise it makes your dating life easier. But the thing is in order to implement, your standards and expectations, even on the first date or very early on, you need to know what your standards and expectations are. So you need to be super clear. And this happens two ways, okay? So this happens from really taking time to reflect on what you want and being specific. I recommend that all women write down, a list of the qualities that she expects her man to have, the lifestyle she wants to have, the type of relationships she wants to have, and really be clear on the top deal breakers. So I would say, top 5 to 10, whatever that looks like, absolute deal breakers. And what that means, I'm not going to assume that everybody knows what that means, but what that means is that if someone comes to you with an attribute that's a deal breaker, it's an immediate no. Okay? So I'll give some examples. For me, I want kids. If someone comes to me and says they don't want kids, that's an immediate no. For me, valuing health and wellness and longevity is massive in my life. Okay. I really, really, really value my health and my wellness, and I expect my partner to as well, so that we can both show up for our children as long as possible. So if someone comes into my life and they smoke, drink, eat fast food, it's going to be a no because I'm looking for longevity, right? The other thing that's also really important to me is that, someone is politically aligned. If they come into my life and they are misaligned with my values, it's going to be a no. So what I'm getting to is figure out what your big values and beliefs are, your big ones, your deal breakers. Okay. You need to be super clear on that, why it's important to you. What are these things that are non-negotiable to you? Okay. So write a list, be clear on those. Also be specific about all the other things that you want, be specific about the characteristics you want your man to have, how you want him to communicate to you. Every little detail, be so specific. And I'm not saying that the man that you end up being with long term might nail every single check. It's not realistic to have these insanely high standards, but you do need to be so clear on what you want going into a relationship. Because if you're not clear about what you want going into a relationship, you are going to settle for anyone. You're going to settle for anyone. Okay. So, like I said, there's two ways to get super clear on what you want in a relationship and from a man or woman, if there's men listening to this. I'd assume the most of my audience is women, but man or woman, okay? Get super, super clear on what you expect and what you want and what your deal breakers are. All right. Secondly, the other way that you figure out what you want is by dating, is by experience. Okay. So go on dates with people that you feel might align with you and might align with what you have written out and what your expectations are. Don't waste your time going on dates with people who you know are not aligned with you. It's a waste of your time. I know there's other people that say, like, oh, just date around, go on as many dates as you want, whatever. Don't waste your time if you know someone is misaligned with where you're going, what you want, and your expectations, okay? So yeah, go on dates, get to know people. And as you date a little bit and you filter people and you get to know different people, your expectations and your standards might change a little bit because you might learn something from this one person and think, "Oh, I really really love, the way that they do that. That is something I want in my life." Or I really don't like the way they do that. I don't want that in my life. And your standards and expectations will change as you get more clarity as you date. So, yes, take the time, be mindful, and really think about what you want, make that list, and, read it over. And like part of manifestation is being clear of what you want and thinking about it often enough and bringing awareness to it. So, I'm not saying you're going to manifest the man of your dreams. That's not the kind of like woo woo stuff we're talking about today. But I am saying that, if you want to get the man of your dreams, you do need to be clear about what you want. And, you need to be thinking about it often enough. It needs to be on the forefront of your mind because as soon as you forget about what you want and you're not clear about it, you're going to settle for any Joe Blow. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about with like setting your expectations and standards in the beginning of a relationship is that you need to be at a point in your life, and it's okay if you're not right now, but you need to be in a point in your life that you are happier being single and being on your own and doing your own thing. You're happy and content with yourself more than you are settling for someone who really doesn't align with you. Okay. I think there's a lot of people that are so scared to be alone and they're petrified of the idea of being alone. So they will settle for someone who is not their person and someone who really doesn't serve them in the long term. So recognize if you are just settling for people because you're so scared to be alone and that's why your expectations are not being met. So that's another component. Okay, I want to jump into, actually setting your expectations and standards right from the get-go. And I think this is something that's like kind of taboo and a lot of women are really scared to do this and think that it's wrong. They think like, "Oh, dating should be kind of just like go with the flow and you're getting to know a person and just see how it goes." And like, I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I'm so clear with what I want in a relationship and what I want, with my future husband. I'm looking for my future husband. I'm looking for the father of my children. So I'm not just going to like go with the flow in a relationship. Okay. And if a man says that to me, I see it as a pretty big red flag. I'm not going to lie. So sorry. ADHD brain triggered right now. Okay, reel it in. Reel it in. Okay. where I'm going or where I'm getting at is that honestly, you can set your expectations and standards on the first date. As long as you do it in kind of like a fun, flirty way, no man wants to be on a date with you and you're like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. No, that's going to scare them off. And you don't have to do it on the first date. You can wait, see them out, have a fun time, catch the vibe, see if you're like even into them, and then maybe second date. But what I'm saying is don't wait weeks to drop the bomb and be like, I want a relationship. Deal with that right off the bat. Announce your standards and expectations right off the bat because you're so worthy of having your expectations be met. And if you know you're so worthy of your standards and expectations being met, you will voice them because it doesn't matter what the repercussions are. If he says, hey, I can't meet those, cool, I'll go find it somewhere else. That's what your response should be. Okay, no worries. Nice getting to know you. I'm going to go find someone else. Whatever, Like, do not put all your eggs in one basket and do not put all your worth in one person and think that you need to like lower your standards or expectations because that one person won't meet them. No. So set your standards and expectations right from the get-go. It can be the first date, second date, whatever that looks like. And it can be in a kind of like fun, flirty way, just asking and getting to know each other and being like, hey, like, do you see yourself having kids one day? Like what does your life look like? Whatever these big things are for you, talking about them. And it doesn't have to be in a big pressured way. It can be in like a fun and flirty way, like I said. But it's bringing these up and figuring out if that person aligns with you. Because if you are looking for a relationship, and I think everybody should be looking for a long-term relationship. I think that's like, the most beautiful thing and the most amazing thing is to be with a life partner and build a family. But if you are looking for a long-term relationship, that's something that you voice right from the beginning. I see so many circumstances where women go out with men, they do not voice what they want, how they feel, or what they're expecting. They go with the flow of the man, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I love a man that takes leadership in the relationship. I want a man to be taking masculine leadership. But oftentimes it's not leadership that they're taking. They're being very passive. And the woman is left not knowing where she stands. She's left in this wishy-washy stage for weeks or months even, and thinking, oh, like, I want a relationship with him, but like, he says he's just so busy right now. Or, oh, I don't know what's going on, or it's a situationship, or, he has a lot going on, or he just doesn't want to commit right now, or whatever that looks like. And by this time that weeks and months have passed, you've already established big feelings for this person. You've worked up a big fairy tale in your head about this guy that you think you're going to have a life with, but I hate to break it to you, if he hasn't had the gonads to commit to you now, he's not going to, and he's not interested. You're just a toy that he's playing around with right now. So back to my point is that if you set your standards and your expectations right from the beginning, right from the get-go, you say, hey, babe, I'm really looking for a committed relationship. I really want to, build and grow a family one day. So that's the intentions that I have. And if he comes back to you and says, oh, well, like, that's not really something that I'm looking for right now, that's okay. That's okay. No worries. You go find what you're looking for elsewhere, and I will also, because I deserve to have my expectations met. Okay? So part one of that is announcing your expectations and standards in a respectful, flirty, fun way, okay? In the beginning, right from the get-go. Number two, and this is the most important part, is if this man comes back to you and says, I cannot meet your standard expectation in whatever way, whatever excuse he gives you, does not matter. You have to have the courage and self-worth to walk away and know that you are going to get it somewhere else, okay? And I don't want you women to be building, unhealthy and toxic standards and expectations that are extremely high, but you do also have to know what your deal breakers are. You have to know in what sense do you need to walk away? Okay? If he says he doesn't want a relationship, walk away. If you want kids and he doesn't, walk away. If you really value your health and you take care of your health and that's what you want in a partner, but he smokes and drinks, but he says he might quit one day, walk away. Okay? I know like this is crazy. No, it's not crazy. This is like completely sane. And I think that this is the complete rational way to go about this. But I just think this is the best way to go about this because when you set your standards and expectations right from the beginning, it's so easy to filter these people. You can really see right from the get-go, okay, like he's not a fit or he might be a fit. Let's see how it goes. Let's date him for a little while and see. You know? And you don't need to date men like with the assumption of marrying them. I know I always talk about, my future husband, my future baby daddy, like whatever. You don't need to date men with the assumption of husband in mind. And of course, that's the outcome that you want. That's the goal. That's where you're going to. But you do have to get to know them. And I think the issue with like dating men with like having your husband in mind is as women, we really build these fairy tales in our head. So you start dating someone and then you picture how they could be your husband or how they could be the father of your children or how, that may look to you. And then all of a sudden, you've looked past all of your expectations that you wanted. And all of a sudden, they don't meet your expectations, but you've set this fairy tale in your head and you want it to happen. So, I would date with the intention of really getting to know if someone is the right fit in your life. Really date with the intention of like seeing if they check the boxes. And like I said earlier, this doesn't have to be crazy, crazy high standards and expectations, but from the overall population I've seen of women, our standards are at a bare minimum, okay? If he texts you back, that's not that's below bare minimum. If he won't make plans with you and you're the one that's always making plans, babe, he's probably not interested. Okay? Like I see so many women going for men that just will not give them effort. Anyways, that's a sidebar. But what I'm trying to say is that my life has changed so much since I set my standards and expectations right from the get-go because it makes it so much more clear to me if the person is for me or not, you know? And also the amount of confidence that is built when you have the self-worth to walk away when someone's not a right fit is insane, okay? And it's not easy. Like in the beginning, when you first start establishing these boundaries with yourself and having the like willingness to walk away when things are not great is hard. It's really hard because I'm not going to lie, a lot of people are scared to be alone. A lot of people haven't done the inner work that is required in order to make you feel super comfortable being alone so that you go out and get the person that is correct for you. You know? I lost my train of thought. It's so great that podcasts can be edited because, wow, the brain is empty right now. Hello? Check one, check two. Hello? Hello? Anyone up there? Okay. Let's dial it back in. Wake up. Okay. So, what is this? What is this? What is this? Oh my god, this all has to be edited out. Okay. Anyways, I want to wrap this up. I wanted to keep this one short and spicy, short and spicy. But I just feel like there are so many women that are too scared to set their expectations or what they want right from the beginning because maybe they don't feel worthy of asking for these things or they're scared that that man's going to walk away. But babe, let me just put this into perspective. If you set these expectations right from the beginning and he walks away, amazing. That's what you want. Okay. You don't want to have to set these expectations 2 months down the road once you've attached feelings to him and then he walks away. That would feel pretty crappy. And also, like, wouldn't you want to know right from the get-go? I would. I want to know right from the get-go, you know? So you are so worthy of setting your expectations and standards, and it's not a weird thing. Like, I feel like hookup culture today has made us women feel weird about asking for what we want in a relationship. Like back in the day, it was so normal to be dating to get married. So you talked about these big things, you talked about these big things. Now, with hookup culture being such a massive thing, I think a lot of women feel like it's taboo to talk about these big things in the beginning because they're like, oh, like, what if they don't want that? Or like, it's like so hookup culture now, like, whatever it is. If that's what you want, babe, go into the relationship being proud that that's what you want. Know that you're worthy of getting that and be proud that that's what you want. And when you announce that that's what you want, if they're not receptive to what you want, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's someone else out there for you that is the perfect match, or at least 90% better than this Joe Blow that doesn't want children or whatever, So that's what I'm saying. You need to feel worthy of announcing this and don't feel taboo. Like, this is normal. If you want a relationship, if you want a committed relationship, if you want a man that's going to give you what you want, then you need to be willing to ask for it or at least like say like, hey, this is what I expect. This is what I want. You're not going to get what you want by just wishing and dreaming about it. You're going to get what you want by asking for it and expressing that that's what you expect. So I think these are all really, really important aspects. So just to summarize, let's end this. Let's wrap this up. Just to summarize, okay? In order to know what your standards and expectations are, you have to be really clear on it. Okay? You have to be extremely clear. And how do you do that? You do that by taking some time, being mindful, reflecting on what you want. Write out a list. Be clear on what your absolute deal breakers are. Be clear on what you're willing to bend on, write a massive list and have at least 5 to 10 things that you're not willing to bend on. Those are expectations and standards that you absolutely need in a relationship. Okay. And then some other ones that would be like really great, really great for you to picture and imagine that things that you want. Secondly, go out and get dating experience with people that align with the list that you have written, seek out people who align. And I want to tell you that the more people that don't align with you and you say no to, it's crazy how the universe just starts dishing out people that align with you more. When you have the courage and the self-worth to be like, yeah, no, that doesn't align with what I want. I'm going to walk away instead of feeling scarce and staying in this relationship because I'm so scared to be alone. No, honey. No. We deserve to get what we want. So we're going to walk away. And then all of a sudden the universe is like, here's some more that are way more aligned. That's literally what happens. So I'm losing my train of thought again, but okay. Yes. So recap, be clear on what you want by making a list and going out and dating. Don't waste your time with people who are clearly not aligned with you. Okay. Secondly, voice your standards and expectations right from the get-go, but do it in a fun, flirty, and feminine way. Don't do it in like, I demand this or else. you die or something. I don't know. But do it in a fun, flirty, and feminine way. Okay. Be in your feminine flow. This is a whole nother thing. And I will talk about how to be in your feminine flow on, dates in another podcast. But be in your feminine flow when you're asking for these things. So set your standards, expectations right from the get-go. Okay. When the man comes back to you and either says like, yes, that's what I want also, or he says, no, that's not what I want, but pay attention to his verbiage, like maybe he says no, that's not what I want, but maybe he uses another excuse like I'm going traveling, or I need to find myself, or I have no idea. Any excuse under the book, whatever excuse he uses, take that as I'm not interested. Okay. Have the self-worth to walk away when they say that they can't meet your standards and expectations, because someone else will meet your standards and expectations. Last thing I'll say is that if a man says, hey, like, these are great, we're aligned, like, I love your standards and expectations, I'm so happy to do this for you, and I'm so happy to be the man to uphold these things for you, then amazing. But give him a bit of, a grace period. Give him a bit of a grace period and see if he can actually stand up to what you are wanting. See if he's being the man that you want to be with. Don't just automatically fall over. That's the last thing I'll say. That's a whole nother bucket of worms. But baby girls, I promise you, if you can get so much more comfortable on doing this, it will really change the game for you. And it will also build your confidence, because you'll be like, God damn, I deserve so much. And I'm so good at asking for what I deserve. And, when I walk away, when someone doesn't give me what I want, like I feel like on top of the world. So yeah, that's that. That's the end of this podcast. But I hope that was helpful to some of my girlies that are dating, and have fun with it. Have fun with dating. Dating is so fun. But thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I'm going to end it here. And if you enjoyed this podcast, or you've been enjoying my podcast, then please go subscribe to whatever you're listening to. Please write a review. Share it on your Instagram. If you share it, I will reshare it. And thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it so much, and I cannot even begin to describe how much I appreciate all of your support. And when I get messages from you guys saying, hey, I listened to this podcast, it means the world to me. I am in the game of, making an impact and serving people and changing lives. And the only way I can do that is if I get my voice out there. So I need your help. Help me, please, get my voice out there by, sharing, subscribing, writing a review, doing all the things. Anyways, I love you so much. Thank y'all so much. Please, please go set your standards and expectations, my little chicken nuggets. Bye.